where love stayed. Red Hollow had not changed. The same false front buildings leaned into the street, their paint bleached pale by sun and years of hard living. The wind still carried dust through the air, curling it around boots and doorways like a warning. Caleb Hart rode in just before noon. The sheriff's star pinned to his chest caught the light as he dismounted. Conversations quieted. Men turned their heads. Women paused mid-step. Red Hollow remembered him and the violence he had left behind. He had sworn he would never return. But a man did not always get to choose when the past called his name. Across the street, in the dry goods store, Rosalie Moore stood by the front window, her breath catching when she saw him. Caleb. She had waited years to forget that name. She had not succeeded. He looked older, broader in the shoulders, the sharp edge of duty carved deep into his face. But when his eyes lifted and found hers, the years folded in on themselves. For a moment, Red Hollow disappeared. Then the bell over the door rang. They spoke cautiously, as if the wrong word might open old wounds. "I heard you were dead," Rosalie said quietly. Caleb smiled, but there was no humor in it. He told her why he had come back, an outlaw gang, stirring trouble, a threat no one else would face. She listened, anger flickering beneath her calm. "You always carry the weight alone," she said. "I didn't know how not to." The gang came at dusk. Shots cracked through the air. Horses screamed, the town scattered. Caleb stood his ground, revolver steady, heart pounding with more than fear. Rosalie ran to him without thinking. Her hands trembled against his chest. "You could have died." "So could I," he said softly, "but I didn't." They sat on the porch of the jailhouse as the town slept. "I left because loving you made me afraid," Caleb admitted. Rosalie's voice broke. "I stayed because loving you was the only thing that ever felt true." The distance between them vanished. At dawn, Caleb packed his horse. Rosalie stood beside him, eyes steady. "If you leave again, don't come back." He looked at her like a man, finally understanding his own heart. "Then, I won't leave." They left Red Hollow together days later. The prairie stretched wide and endless. A future waited not promised, they found it by chance. Clear water, cottonwoods, quiet. "This could be home," Rosalie whispered. Caleb nodded. "If you'll build it with me." Love did not arrive easily. There were storms, memories, nightmares. But there was also laughter, touch, healing. They learned that love was not rescue, it was choice. They married at dawn beside the creek. No preacher, no witnesses. Just promise. Years passed. Children's laughter filled the cabin. The past loosened its grip. Caleb no longer wore a badge. Rosalie no longer waited. One evening, older now, they sat on the porch, watching the land breathe. "Do you regret any of it?" Caleb asked. Rosalie smiled. "Only that we waited so long." The wind moved through the grass. The land remembered them kindly. Their love was not legend. It was life. As the sun sank low, Caleb took Rosalie's hand. "We made it," he said. She leaned into him. "We always would." And beneath the endless western sky, love stayed. Wind moved through the tall grass, the way it always had, soft, patient, enduring. The creek still curved through the land, carrying reflections of sky and memory alike. Time had passed, seasons had turned, but the place remained, holding everything they had given it. Caleb sat on the porch, older now, the sharp edges of his youth softened by years of choosing peace. Beside him, Rosalie watched the horizon, her hair silvered by sunlight and time, her hands steady in her lap. "This land has seen everything," she said quietly. Caleb nodded, "and it kept us." The cabin behind them stood strong, shaped by weather and care. Inside, voices drifted, laughter, warmth, life layered upon life, proof that love had not simply survived here. It had grown roots. Rosalie reached for Caleb's hand. Their fingers fit together as they always had, familiar and sure. "We could have left," she said. "So many times, but we didn't," Caleb replied. "We stayed." They watched the sun lower, spilling gold across the prairie. The same sky that once witnessed fear and doubt now held only calm. Love had been tested here by distance, danger, and time end. It had answered, not with escape, but with devotion. Caleb leaned closer, resting his forehead against hers. "I spent so long believing love was something you lost, if you weren't careful." Rosalie smiled softly. "Turns out it was something you kept if you were brave enough." The wind passed through the grass again, carrying their quiet laughter into the open land. The prairie listened, unchanged and eternal. And in that wide, forgiving place, love stayed. For more of my story collections, visit my YouTube channel at Aurora Tale Wild West. God bless.